Hi, Diamond Fernandez here, and what I'm going to talk to you about today is family history of heart disease. What happens if you have a significant family history of heart disease? And what can you do to prevent your bad genes from catching up with you? Well, if you don't know, I have a strong family history of heart disease, and that's really why I do what I do. I have a personal history where I have a family history of heart disease where my father had his first heart attack at 38 years old and ended up with bypass at 42 years old. And unfortunately, his brother, my uncle, passed away from a heart attack at 42 years old. So, I have these bad genes in me, but I'm doing everything I can to ensure that I don't go down that same path of my family history of heart disease. And the truth is that it only accounts for less than 5%, or actually even less than 2% if we get really detailed, of our overall risk. And it's really the modifiable risk factors to heart disease that you have to focus on to truly prevent a heart attack or stroke. Now, if you have a family history of heart disease or stroke, it becomes so important to focus on those modifiable risk factors of heart disease. I'm going to go over a handful here. So I have 6 here main key ones that I think it's important to focus on. Obviously, it's important to keep your weight under control. If you have a family history of heart disease or stroke, it becomes so important to keep your weight controlled, and more importantly, focusing on your waist girth. The obvious one, of course, if you have a family history of heart disease or stroke, it becomes so important not to smoke or abuse drugs or even abusing alcohol. Now, this will cause that inflammatory response that can or will lead to heart disease or stroke. Number 3 is really controlling your blood pressure. Now, if you have a family history of heart disease or stroke, make sure that your blood pressure is obviously well controlled. Number 4 is make sure you watch where you eat. The best way I can say is to focus on foods that lower inflammation. Now, if I were to pick one diet, I always talk about a Mediterranean diet because it has such great anti-inflammatory natures to the diet. You want to stay away from simple sugars and simple carbohydrates, especially if you have that family history of heart disease or stroke. So the sodas, the donuts, the baked goods, obviously will just cause inflammatory responses in your arteries. Number 5 is get moving. You have a family history of heart disease or stroke, it becomes so important to get moving. So start to sweat. Exercise is truly your best medicine to prevent heart attacks and strokes, and it has a positive effect on all your modifiable risk factors of heart disease. And the last one I'm going to talk about today is keep your stress under control. Everyone has stress. I don't know anyone that doesn't, but more importantly, how well do you cope with stress? Now, stress is the silent killer which doctors really just can't measure. It's not like you can go into your doctor's office and really tell you that you have to get your stress down to a specific number like your blood pressure. Stress affects our arteries and can lead to heart attacks and strokes. So if you have a family history of heart disease or stroke, focus on your risk factors that you can control so that you can live happier, healthier, and longer. Here's to your heart health success. I'm Diamond Fernandez.